And welcome to another episode of Strangers in the Alps, a movie podcast, where every week we discuss movies in a really crazy, deep ramble.
Very deep.
Very deep. I'm Dan.
I'm Travis.
I'm Sam.
I'm Frank.
And we have a special guest. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you.
I love it when we have guests. Keeps us on our toes, and it keeps us in good behavior. Right?
Or not really.
Right, Travis? Good behavior?
Yeah, it's weird. We're sitting in different seats right now.
Well, yeah, this is very weird.
We're sitting in different seats.
I'm
not used to it. I'm used to having to go.
I'm sitting in Travis's seat, and I'm feeling like something bad is going to happen.
That's
so
Travis.
I'm hanging on for
you
dear
got
life.
bad jokes galore coming up.
I've got dad jokes galore.
I got it.
So anyway, let's start with our traditional. Travis, could you read the back of our VHS tape from which we watched the movie?
I
Yeah,
love
we totally
it.
saw this on VHS.
I actually did.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
All right.
Right on.
Desperation.
I can't wait. Good.
Desperation drives 4 inner-city women to bank robbery in Los Angeles. Then they start mistrusting each other. That's why I was like,
That's not
actually
Very deceiving.
That's
Yeah,
not
very
really
deceiving.
what happens.
Not at all.
No.
There's like one scene where they maybe mistrust a little bit. Stop doing that.
You're not talking to the fucking mic.
Okay.
Who's
well,
Mike?
There goes our PG-13 rating.
There goes our sponsors.
Okay, so let's go around, give us our pre-thoughts. Pre-thoughts, just to refresh our audience, and Jerry, is just what, if you remember before you saw it the first time, if you have any whatever. I mean, we'll start, and then maybe you
Sounds
can
good.
pick
What
up.
did you heard about this movie maybe before?
Okay, I will start because it'll be easiest for me. I never heard of this movie. I was told to watch it. That's my pre-thought.
There you go.
I have the same as Dan. Last week, Frank was like, "Have you heard of Set It Off?" I was like, "What's that?"
For me, same. But then when I looked at the poster, I was like, "Oh, I've seen the poster before, but I've never heard of it." So same. Shut up.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I
where
had
you saw
also
it.
never heard about it before I suggested it to myself.
You just made up a movie title.
Yeah, I did, and then magically it was real. I remember in the 90s, my mom and my dad would rent a bunch of like VHS tapes, as you do.
It's called Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
This was a Blockbuster rental, and I remember specifically they put it on, and at some point while watching it, they decided that it was not suitable for children, so I never got to like finish it until later when I was a teenager.
At what point? Because the opening.
It's only 2 scenes.
I missed the opening, so when I first watched it, I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, that
Interesting.
opening scene
You
is
didn't
kind
know.
of
So you
important.
didn't know the first rule.
No,
the
you know.
first
Okay,
thing.
so I've mentioned this before. I was raised Mormon, and my dad was very puritanical about like
Did you get the Mormon edit?
love making.
Did you
So
get,
it
I
was
don't
around.
remember any love making at the beginning of the movie.
Not at the
I remember
beginning,
some
but there was
kick-ass
there was
bank
some
robbery going on.
there was
one
some
love-
sexual,
yeah.
some woman on
Oh,
woman
that was-
action.
That was no, there isn't.
Yes, there
Yes.
is.
Yes,
There is.
It's
What?
Yes, sir.
Ursula and
Yeah.
They were just making out, weren't they?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
But
they
to
said,
but to
Oh, okay.
Have you ever been told that you're showing too much ankle? No.
no. Frank,
Okay.
Like this is a serious,
Because I was told that a lot as a child.
No, Frank. This is a serious question. Did you see the Mormon edit of the movie?
Yeah.
Is there more
That's
edit?
apparently it's an underground thing where there's like they go around and it's like bootlegs and it's like Mormon edits.
No, we didn't actually because we rented it from Blockbuster. But it was around that time that they were like, "Oh yeah, no, this is not for kids." So we were escorted away and they finished the movie. And then I was later able to watch it and finish it. And yeah, that's
How long
we're
did your
here
family
today.
keep that VHS tape?
Yeah.
3 months.
I was like, well, now it's fine. They're out of business. So
Yeah, we outlasted them, thank God. But yeah, I remember seeing it. It's weird because it was so long ago, but I remember very specific moments. Like I remember a scene, very specific scene that's still one of my favorite points in the movie. And then I remember being escorted. So those are the two things.
Are those two scenes related?
No, they're not.
Sam, how about you? Or did you already do yours?
Yeah,
Very
it's Jerry's turn.
Jerry, pre-thoughts. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I probably, unlike everyone else, definitely knew about Set It Off before Frank came to me and asked me to be on the podcast. Interestingly enough, opposite story to your story, Set It Off is actually the first movie I ever remember seeing in my life.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yes, absolutely, yes. Same situation where my dad rented the movie, but this was the first, like cognitively, I'm sure I saw movies prior to Set It Off, but Set It Off is the movie that has the most vivid imagery to me as a child. I'm 6 or 7 at the time, and my dad, unlike your parents, he did not have that filter. We're watching Set It Off, boys, so that's what we're watching. So, like, literally, it's vivid. When you asked me this, I was like, that's funny as hell, because I remember vividly my dad is sitting in his chair, and my dad used to love these butter cookies. They have a hole in the center of them, and they're like shaped like a little flower.
I know those. Yes.
You know those cookies?
I love those cookies.
He maniac addict, and so what he was doing while we were watching Set It Off, I'm 6, my Irish twin brother, so he's 5. My dad is making him an ice cream sandwich with the cookies. He's making me an ice cream sandwich with the cookies, and he's making my brother an ice cream sandwich with the cookies while Ursula and Cleo are kissing, while Stoney and Nate are having their sex scene, while Cleo is getting shot up at the end of the movie. The 6 and 5-year-old are watching and enjoying their ice cream sandwiches. Maming at the time, I think this movie, because you were talking about, what was it, The Exorcist before we started recording.
I did.
Set It Off is kind of one of those movies for me where, as a 6-year-old, seeing Cleo's death at the end was extremely jarring.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a song that plays with that scene that like is very hard for me to listen to this day, because it brings back kind of those visceral moments.
Sure.
And like you're not knowing like, oh my God, this is, because Set It Off isn't fantasy in that way. It's very real. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Yeah, Set It Off was the first movie I ever remember watching. Yeah.
How many times have you seen it since then?
Many, because Set It Off is a cult classic in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it's one of those movies you have had to have watched.
Right.
It's a play. They've made a musical out of it.
Really?
They've made a musical out of Set It Off since then.
Wow.
Yeah. It is a very cult film of the 90s for sure.
Jen, have you heard of the term hood classic?
There you go.
No.
No? It's a classic, but from
It's
the
a hood classic.
Yes, it
so,
is.
Jerry, I don't know. I realized right before watching it, we watched the director's cut of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that version?
Yes.
Okay.
What's different?
I'm sorry, we
I was gonna
did?
ask you,
Yes.
what's the
How
difference?
do I know I saw the director's
I'm
cut?
asking. So
It's
what's
the
the
only
difference
version.
between like?
Just some longer scenes that have played out a little bit longer than from the initial like the release, basically. So just getting more in depth a little bit on some of the character scenes, but it's not distinctly or vastly different than the release.
So one of the big scenes that's different though, that's in the director's cut, is the scene where after Stoney attacks the police detective, when they're comforting her in her house, and then she's like, oh, and then because she's like, oh, I was gonna take a shower, and then I found his hair.
Right.
That scene's not in it. Another scene that's I know is added too is I think it's when after their first robbery and they're watching TV and they're talking about the robbery.
Mm-hmm.
That scene is also added, and also the scene where Stoney when they're gonna go to that like gala or like that banquet, and she goes to that, and the police knock on the door, and they're like, "Oh, there's been a theft." That scene,
wasn't
that's
there?
not in there
Gotcha.
either.
It's a little moments, but
Yeah, little moments.
I like those additions, to be honest.
For whatever, I mean, it doesn't quite make sense that it wouldn't be in there, but a scene for me that I was almost convinced, I was like, "Oh, this scene's either longer or it's added in there," is the whole like Godfather parody scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason that to me
That
felt,
didn't feel like it would have been in the original.
no,
That
that's
felt
why-
Where they were
very-
sitting at the table and they were talking about the
when
bank
they were
robbery.
acting
when
like
they were,
Marlon
No, it is.
Brando, and really.
Yeah.
That's for me. I was thinking. Well, I mean, for me, if I was like, if I didn't know, and then I had to guess, someone's like, "Oh, what do you think a scene that was different?" If you had to pick one, which one would you think? for some reason, for me, that one I felt like it was probably an extended scene, which it's not.
Oh yeah, that was in the original movie.
Yeah.
Cleo Menza.
I like that, like, it's mainly drama, but sprinkle a bit of comedy in it. It
Sure.
like, offsets each other. Like, that scene was great. And then also just, when Cleo was, like, dancing around after their first robbery, and then she accidentally, like, fired the gun.
Yes.
Mhm.
I thought those things were
Those are
really
fun
good.
moments.
Right, yeah.
I also, like you mentioned earlier, that I think it's one of the scenes they added when the news anchors are talking about the fact that they stole $90,000, and they're like, insurance fraud.
I know,
Yeah,
I love that. Because wasn't it like $8,000 or $9,000 that they
Yeah,
got
like
the first
12.
time?
12,000.
12,000.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's.
usually we go from beginning to end, right? And then we just kind of talk, like, it's very free flow. We
Sure.
talk about whatever comes to mind. So, Dan,
Do you want to?
you'll start.
Do you just want to give a brief?
Yeah, a
or
brief
if Jer-
overview
No, or
of.
Jerry's our guest, or if Jerry wants
No,
to.
I think Jerry should do it
Yeah,
because
just give
he's most familiar with the movie.
just a brief.
But this is
something-
just a brief, so people listening kind of know what the story is without
Sure.
getting into any real detail.
Sure, sure.
Just the big spread
Oh,
strokes.
like high level, broad
just
strokes
the
sort
broad
of situation
of the story.
Well, I guess I'll give you how my interpretation or how I view it. It's basically 4 women, South Central Los Angeles, that come together and are friends from this community. One woman, Frankie, experiences a bank robbery by some members from her community. She gets fired from her job. Stoney, which is probably Jada Pinkett Smith, this was a big vehicle for all of those ladies. When it came out in the 90s, a push for them. So Jada Pinkett Smith, her character Stoney, deals with the loss of her brother. This ignites them to decide they want to take things into their own hands, and they begin to go on a bank robbing spree, which, as we all know, in typical film fashion, doesn't always go well.
no, it really doesn't usually ever work out well.
Typically not.
And then there's, I think, TT. I think her.
TT.
Yeah, Tisha.
Yeah, I
Yes.
remember she has a
A
son
Mm-hmm.
gets taken from child custody.
Right.
Right.
Child Protective Services.
Because she can't, because she's down, she's not making enough money, because she's unable to take care of her child, take care of her child's daycare. This is her impetus to rob the bank. And I think Cleo is she's the one who has more of a vanity reason to rob banks.
100%.
She's not where she wants to be in terms of her life overall. She wants to be a little bit more flashy. I think with the parallel, she wanted to be like one of the guys for sure in the community, and so the best way for her to do that was to rob banks. So each of the 4 women had a reason to come together and then do this together, and it's that that anger that they have, each of them are holding, and then they go to rob the banks. And of course, some of the saddest deaths on screen I've seen.
No, I like that, right. They spend a lot of time building up the characters,
Mm-hmm.
what made them reach that point of, no, we need to get this robbery done.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did that very, very well. I think for me, the main point of this film is not about how it looks or whatever. It's just a character-driven
Mhm.
and very story-driven. That's what I like
Mhm.
about this film.
Yeah, because I like too how very much so you can tell like they're just need the money and aren't doing because they're very much like, oh, let's go in a minute and a half, no one's gonna die, and then they even do the thing too where like I think they're gonna go to the vault or some of them. They're like, don't get greedy.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
we have enough already. Yeah, but
If I could,
Please.
this is. I was talking about this recently. How recently? Recently with a friend of mine. I think Set It Off is to me a film about I think I've mentioned this to you at work too when we were talking about this. I think Set It Off is a subtle film about like police brutality at that time, and a way to comment on that is it happens quickly, it's subtle, and then the drama of the bank robbery carries you through that because you're dealing with like the angst now, right? This is around the time like you're thinking of riots and these sorts of things. So how can we tell this story? How can we speak to these people who are feeling this anger, feeling this angst in the world in a way that's entertaining and acceptable? A lot of times for me with films that overtly do this, they become a pedantic and I don't like them. I don't want to sit and watch it because it's more of a overt police brutality. This is what you're trying to get me to feel. But what I love about Set It Off, especially at the time that it came out, was that it was about this on a high level, and you could easily escape that while watching the narrative. You could easily think about this is about these women, but again, it's about that underlying tension, because I think that had Stoney not wanted to go in and rob the banks, even the other women's reasons wouldn't have been enough to get them to do it. But because her brother was, savagely shot and killed, mistaken identity by the police, that was the impetus for them to push that, and that anger to be fueled by what was happening. So things like Rodney King and all of those types of things happening kind of fueled that fire. So I think that this is the film that kind of was able to pulse that in a hip way, because F. Gary Gray, the director of it, was a hip hop video director at the time, working with Ice Cube.
Wondering who he was. Yeah.
I think too, he did Boys in the Hood.
He
right?
didn't do Boys in the Hood. Friday.
Yeah. I always think he did both of them, but he did Friday.
Yeah.
Wait, Boys of the Hood was directed by
John Singleton.
John
Right.
Singleton. Yeah, I get them mixed up.
I have to correct myself because last week,
Go right ahead.
when we did Crying Game, I said that this was his directorial debut. But that's
Yeah, it was
I mixed it up with Friday.
Yeah. I always think for some reason he did both of those, but I know too. He also too has a cameo in the movie as well. He's the guy in the lowrider.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I was like, hey, I know that guy. Well, I don't know him, but I know.
This movie was before Friday?
It was right after.
Right after, yeah.
Because he kind of like F. Gary Gray, like Ice Cube, everyone, that kind of movie. Like I said, that was his first film. It kind of escalated his career.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He had done some video, like before he did Friday, he did a couple of
He was
music
Ice
videos.
Cube's director for a
Ice
long time.
Cube.
Yeah.
He also did a Queen Latifah video,
Mhm.
and then later he did an Outkast video, but that was after, he
I
was
I was
already
curious
established.
about Queen Latifah. Where was she at in her acting career at
was
this
her
point?
first starring role.
This
Well,
was
first
this
film
was
role.
after
No, I'm-
music and after
No, I know
In Living
she-
Color.
Okay,
And
so
then
this is
single.
after In Living Color.
Oh, Living
Single.
Single. Sorry.
Yeah,
What?
She was
Living
a badass
Single.
in
Living
this
Single.
one.
because I think
She was
I
badass
think
in this
she's
one.
also said too that this is
Badass.
her.
Yeah, she was.
Badass.
She was the badass in this one.
This was, I think, she said that this is her favorite character, like role she's
Mhm.
ever had. Like, her favorite character.
I think I read that when they were doing the table read, she started reading the script, and at one point she said, "I am this bitch."
Well, the one thing, and then I'm not even gonna say I'm not gonna go and say it's like I think it's a plot hole or problem with the film. It's just one thing that I kind of like is it's used more as like a joke, and I was like, okay, cool. I think it's funny. Is every time when she would go steal a car, she'd judge the music with the CDs. Because
I loved that.
Because
One of my favorite things, she was tossing the CDs out of the car.
and then she's just like, let's just do it. Because I thought what was going to happen, it was ultimately going to maybe be here, like her undoing.
Yeah,
Like I
like
thought
they'd
they were
get
going to get the
prints or something.
fingerprints. So I was every time I was like, no, don't do it because.
But you got to think at that time too.
Oh,
that
they
wasn't
weren't-
that.
yeah.
It wasn't that
But and
technologically
that's
advanced.
what I like though, that it wasn't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of like I said, there was more drama. It was more her whole, fate of the film. Like I said, it's more character driven.
Yeah.
Something just small, like, oh, and then we caught them from the CDs, and they went to prison, they
Yeah.
went to jail, or they died because jumping ahead just a little bit. And I can imagine, Jerry, for you being as a kid, this is why it stuck so much. So I had seen this movie now. I'm like in my 30s, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, seeing a movie where a finale is in downtown LA and they're flying a helicopter
Mhm.
through downtown. I'm like, you never see that anymore. Like in any movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with that scale where they're going through like the second street, that they're going
Yeah.
through the bridge, they have the helicopters, they have the police cars flying through. And I mean, yeah, you can say like they do it now in some movies, but it's always just
Well, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm sorry.
no, I'm saying with the finale of having like it's
Get into the mic.
I'm saying the finale is
Fillet
really
the
cool
mic.
of just seeing like
But you say you never see what anymore?
just I mean
I
like
think he means you don't see like that the physicality of like
physical
real
of, like real helicopter like
helicopters
flying
and stuff.
through like
You mean practical?
Practical,
Versus like
yeah.
them.
yeah.
Yeah, because for me, I don't think about it in LA, even though we have terrible traffic. The thing that always makes me laugh is when I see a movie that's set in New York, a cop movie, and for some reason, where are all the people that I'm crowded in when I go to New York, and all the streets are crowded? They're never crowded in those movies.
No, they just
People
don't
are doing fast car chases down Madison Avenue. It's like, what?
all they have in those movies is they just always have the hot dog vendor at the corner that narrowly misses. But no, I think the finale of this movie, I thought was just I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Which is
Yeah, the
it's
finale's
really
really
cool
good.
because you look at the budget. It was like modestly budgeted. It was like what, $9 million?
Mhm.
Yes,
That's it?
9.1.
Relatively cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it made $41 million.
Yeah. So like to think that from what I was reading, they were stretching that budget as much as they could. They wanted it to feel as like big and real as possible, and I feel like they
did, but it was also very actor driven. It was very story driven.
So
It wasn't there wasn't I mean there wasn't a lot of money to be spent on effects and stuff because it was really not that movie. It was really very I also liked the way they shot the film in the sense that it felt very not docu-real, but it felt very real.
Like raw,
It felt kind of raw versus like really nice, clean setup shots. Some of the shots weren't very clean in terms of how they were set up, but that was but it was consistently kind of that way, where it kind of felt like, it kind of a little rough shot at times without it getting shaky and doggy. I hate that. It just had a very kind of like, oh, we're like really here. We're like really watching. We're like in this room with them.
Surrealism.
Yeah.
You mean
and even the
cinema
dialogue, they're kind of
verite?
on top of each other a little bit. Maybe a little on, the dialogue.
The dialogue felt very real.
It felt very naturally
natural.
coming out of those characters.
Yeah.
Especially too in the
And they were able to keep it tight enough where it didn't go rambling.
like in the scene too where they were just kind of like hanging out like in the with the in the roof, that one, and then even with like the low riders, where they just have like that bottle and they're just passing it around.
Oh yeah, at the first time they meet up.
The first time they all meet up and they're like, we're like off of work because we just work all night.
I'm not gonna say that when I grew up I was around like people that were like that all the time, but growing up, I grew up in Pacoima in Panorama City. Like we were always adjacent to people like that were a little, what's the word? I don't, you know what I mean? Like people that are yes. But also
Sketchy.
people that were less well off,
Oh, okay.
Like it's always been a thing for me because growing up, we went from being homeless to living in a mobile home to apartments to a home. So like I saw various different states of poverty and then middle class life. So it all felt real to me in a way that somebody who lived it would know.
And I think
You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
and it goes down to the dialogue, the relationships, the archetypes that the girls fill in. And I think one of the things that rings the most true for me is or why it rings most true is because what's it called? Because the girls themselves were you know what? I lost the train of fucking thought as I was saying.
It's okay. I understand.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like it's
No, I get it.
well,
it's a lived-in story.
Yes, for
and
sure.
I think that's its biggest strength.
did you ever see the movie Florida Project?
No, but I heard it.
Okay,
It's very.
so it's kind of similar in the sense I think what you were trying to say is that you can tell like these characters, they live in the projects and everything, but it's never tries to flash like, look, they're poor.
yeah,
Look,
it's not.
It's just to them. It's just like, no, this is just their
It's life.
daily lives,
Yeah.
and we're just going through their life. It's not trying to draw any attention to, and it's trying to make it like
It's not
like,
exploitative.
It's not exploit
Yeah.
exactly that exactly, and it's not like, look, we're trying to throw messages in here.
No, which is what Jerry said. And I
Exactly,
agree.
exactly.
It doesn't feel preachy.
Exactly,
But it's loaded with all of that type of stuff because of the groundedness and the reality that these are like the trying to the offhanding your beliefs and your dreams into this brother who's going to this college and the pressure that is on him, right? When he's also a member of this community that he wants to be accepted into as a man, right? All of that is baked into this reality of project living, of socioeconomic, their upbringing, their socioeconomic background, right? So all of that's there. It's just the pressure cooker of being in America, being black in America, being low income in America, being disenfranchised in America, being powerless in America. You fire me because I am associated to people who rob this bank. You're not even giving me a chance to prove myself because they live in the same project communities that I live in. I have to know them and I have to be complicit in this, right? that's you know, how do you navigate those worlds without anger?
Yeah, that's the same thing, because it wasn't even like, you know, because there's the whole thing where John C. McGinley's like, what's the first thing you do?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even, they do the whole thing, but it's not even that reasoning. Jerry, like you said, it's very much just the reasoning is, it's a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's guilty by association.
guilt,
Mhm.
exactly. Like,
That
oh,
wouldn't
it's
be, if we're speaking freely or rightfully, would not be given to someone who didn't look like her, right?
Yeah.
Because specifically she's who she is. Specifically she's from where she's from. She cannot be given the benefit of the doubt, right? That's kind of what that moment is speaking to too. Then it's also looking at how one of my favorite lines in the movie is when it opens. She says, "Damn, sister, you ain't even offer me a drink, nothing to drink."
Yeah.
Because that also speaks to how even intra-racially, once you cross a certain divide, you denounce the race, quote unquote, and you go into the blue, right? The blue of it all. So damn, you're on that side. You didn't even you couldn't sympathize with me enough to see what I'm going through in this moment, when you probably in your own way deal with these men around you all the time, right? So it's those type of things are there. You can watch it for it. You can get that for it if that's what you're watching for and getting it for. And that's something I didn't get at 6. That's something I didn't get, you know, at 14 when I'm watching this hood classic with my homies. I'm just seeing, you know, oh shit, bank robbery and da-da-da, and the classic with the CDs and everything. But then as you start to get more informed, you start to see what's happening in the world, contextually what's happening. You're like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. These are the levels of it and the dimensions of it that I'm thinking. You think about, like, in 96, for Cleo to be as openly queer, that was revolution. I mean, like, the movie itself was like, this, how can this be done? 4 black women leading a bank heist film, how does that happen and be a commercial success? Right? But I don't know, I think and maybe I'm biased because I'm the one who saw it when I was 6. I think that this was one of those movies that was critically underappreciated.
Well, yeah, I never
For
even,
sure, because I didn't know it at all. But it's hearing you talk about all this and giving so much context to this movie is really interesting, because when I was watching the movie, my experience in watching particularly the first act, and I talk about this a lot in podcasts, I tend to kind of not judge, but I kind of make decisions about movies very early.
Sure.
First act. And rarely am I wrong. Rarely do movies get better after the first act. Like, the first act doesn't really work for me.
Sure.
It doesn't get better.
Sure.
And I was very iffy about the first act. And mainly because, but now that you're talking about it, it really changes my thoughts. But when I was watching it, it made me feel like, okay, you're just hammering me over the head to get me into bank robbery. I knew we were going to start robbing banks.
Sure.
I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're just giving me every horrible scenario you can to make it okay for you guys to go start robbing banks. That's all you're doing. But interestingly, that I didn't. That's so I had kind of a real, okay, that's how I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But then after they start robbing banks, and the movie kind of, for me, kind of set off on another play. Then I was like, oh, this movie's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
Set it off.
it did set it off. But when you talk about it in context, then I look at it and I go, okay, that's just my life, my experience of my life watching a movie going, okay, I'm not connecting to all the stuff that you guys are doing. All I'm hearing is, all I'm seeing is really bad shit that's just an excuse as a storytelling, not in
course.
real life, to get to that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And even then, I think that as I watched it later, I'm like, you still had other options, right? Like, you definitely did still, you know what I mean? Like, you still did.
Yeah.
But my dad used to say, I love him so much. My dad used to say to me, son, yes, Dad, violence is what a man chooses when he feels like he has no other option. And contextually in the film, I look at it where when you are not as intelligent as some of us are, when you're not as emotionally aware as some of us are, your options per your understanding are extremely limited.
Yeah. 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 And that is really what happens in the movie. I mean, from their perspective and in the world they're in, they're at that point that your dad's talking about.
Yeah.
They don't have any other options that they have, that they understand.
You just sold your body, and then your brother tells you he didn't get into school. And then he tells you that money is not necessary. She didn't care. She had nothing to lose. This was never about money for her, right? For Stoney. Right. Because she had a check that she ripped up out of anger, right? Had gotten that money, and now she could have pocketed that and been fine probably in getting the money that she ended up getting over the course of the film. She was broken as a person because now her dreams, if her brother still lived, there was a possibility that the dream could have actually done something. She could have talked shit to him enough or done whatever. But the murder means like, no, I don't have anything. So I'm willing to die. And that is when you get to that point, you don't give a fuck. Excuse me, can we say you don't give a fuck?
Well, you can
Fuck
now.
yes.
I'm so
Jeez.
sorry.
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're
Usually
good.
we've dropped like 50 of them.
I'm so.
We talk about clitorises all the time.
I love
oh my
clitorises.
gosh.
No, I do. I love them.
It's very kind.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, because I do understand what you're saying. Even from me, from a middle class dad and mom, this and living this type of life, it would have been okay, baby girl, or you know what I mean, or Frankie, get you a good lawyer and file a lawsuit, baby. You would have owned the bank, but you don't have those options when you're from there, and so when your community is set up in such a way, which is why again, another critique that the film actually makes is that when you are in the projects, when you're in the hood, that's a pressure cooker for you to just somehow, some way come in contact with law enforcement. Right. You're gonna. So, so again, it's a lot that you have to bring to it if you know culturally, but outside of that, still from a entertainment value space, I think the film works on that level, just like, yo, this is a great shoot 'em up as well as what we used to call them.
It for sure works on that level. Absolutely.
The opening, did you start facing?
Yeah, the opening movie. I mean, the opening of the movie just like gets you right in, man. You're full in.
It sets it off.
I mean, like
literally.
within literally like 3 shots, you're already going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, you're already tensions like building so fast, you don't even know what the heck.
Sorry, they're like, this dude talks so fucking much. Y'all invited me here, so I'm gonna give you your money's worth. What's so even that just came to me was, remember though, when the guy walks into the bank, even she's profiling him. You get what I'm saying? How that intraracial, she's already like, man, here we go with this. Something is, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then to the flip side of that, it's that I judge my own people. I did this. That didn't do me any good because I'm still on the opposite side of that on this, right? And for her, Frankie was the impetus to kind of like, again, her nothing to lose moment because she had ascended from the hood. Yeah, I'm still a hood girl, but I'm the hood bitch that's working at the bank. Yes, I'm the one counting the money. So I have a chance to transcend this. When that's gone now, because now where are you going to get another job as a bank teller? No other banks are going to hire you. And if that's your only skill that you use to get you out of that impoverished community, well, guess what now? You have no hope.
Well, now she said, too, she's like, I don't have any references.
Nothing.
Like, nothing.
Nothing.
I think I saw it like the 4 women are the different archetypes of what, you know, the like, I guess, life paths that take you. And Frankie is very much the I did everything right and it wasn't good enough.
Which how many of us are experiencing that right now in our 30s? Oh my gosh, I went to school. I went to college. I got my degree. I thought this was going to be the easy answer for me. And now, I'm working at Costco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for real, because then I have to deal with the disrespect and I have to deal with all the I thought I had escaped that. And this is a middle class person, you know what I mean? Getting paid quote unquote well, right?
Yeah.
You kind of can still have that fury and that rage. And then TT.
I just already knew. I was like, it's not gonna end well.
The minute the child shows up at work, you're like,
I mean, other than like her, just
Is it because she's very like
timid?
Yeah.
Yeah, with her, I'm just like, yeah, and then her story's sad. You can tell, like I said, it doesn't, like I said, even with, like, just the way, like, her acting, like, the way she reacts to a lot of surgery and things, it's like, you can just tell, like, you know, like I said, this movie, you know, visual medium, it's showing, like, you can tell, like, just a lot, like, she's had, like, a rough life, like, with everything. And you don't know, like, when I was, like, a kid, never talked about the dad, so it's like, you don't, I don't know, like.
You know, it's funny, though. I don't know why I'm jumping there. When I was watching the movie and getting to know the character, the four women, my brain immediately was like saying, I don't know what's going to happen to the other three, but Queen Latifah, you're definitely going to die. I knew for sure she was going to get shot up good.
Yes.
Just because she was, that was all set up for
she's kind
that to happen. It was just that whole reckless sort of, you know.
Then she, like I said, by the end she gets better, but for me, I didn't
Oh, I thought she was cool.
I didn't, I'm saying for me, I didn't necessarily think, oh, Queen Latifah, like, you're going to die. I was like, I'm like, please. Is she gonna mess it up for something? Is something gonna happen? Like, but
we sure. I mean, like Jerry was saying, I mean, bank robbery movies never
really end well ever,
unless it's like one single heist that you're trying to pull off.
Right.
But if you're Bonnie and Clyde, or you're what's the my favorite with Chris Pine. Hell or High Water. You know,
Now
this
you
is,
see me.
You know this ain't gonna work out. I mean, even if with all good intentions, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, and like I said, this one, you know, I think this movie, with the way the heist are shot, directed, and everything, written a little bit. And I'm not saying I think this movie's like copying them or like ripping off or like playing homage. This movie's kind of like the encapsulation of like Point Break, Heat, like all these other movies.
Absolutely.
But for me, people are gonna hate me for this.
Oh, good.
I have always felt like Heat is a little. The
Overrated.
heist scene is cool. It's a little overrated. For me,
Everybody thinks Heat's overrated.
I know
You're gonna
people that
catch
swear
some
it's the
heat.
best movie ever made.
I don't know.
It's
No,
to me.
that is
To
not.
me,
Whoever
it's
says that
You're going
has
off tangent now.
a 3-hour soap opera.
Travis.
What I'm saying,
Travis. Whoever thinks that's the best movie made is a freaking idiot.
Yeah, but
okay, straight up.
But my point is, what I'm saying with this one is, in this movie, I guess it reminds me of Heat in some ways, where it's like, you know, you have your moments of like melodrama. You're spending time with the characters, but I feel like with this movie, it was much.
But unlike Heat, which takes its sweet time to go nowhere,
This movie's going
movie,
somewhere.
You're in it.
this movie, you're in it,
Exactly.
man. This movie's in fourth gear, and the second shot, it just doesn't. It's just going. It's just going.
Okay, but who the fuck hates that cop that showed up last second and then created that last shootout?
Oh,
Okay, hang on.
Fuck him.
First of all, I want to talk about. I don't know if we're talking about the same cop or not. Who's the actor who played
John C.
Yeah.
McGinley.
Is that who you're talking about?
No, it was that security.
Okay,
That,
so the
that
guy
bank
from
security.
Scrubs, funny, we were talking about that earlier. I must have blinked. At the very beginning, in the first interrogation after the bank robbery, he was a fucking ass. Yes,
Yes, he was.
He-
yes.
And then all of a sudden, the next time around, he's like Mr. Protector of everyone's
No,
rights.
no, because he was just trying to get them to surrender. He's still an ass through and through.
Yeah, well,
You know what it is though?
No, I feel
But
like he
here's-
became
here's
like
the thing that's
trying
interesting
to-
though, which again was why I love this movie. I actually love this movie. This is one of my homies. I was telling you, like, if we wait till Friday, I have a homie. I'm telling you, my homie told me this is his favorite movie on the planet. And what I love about it is that the movie tries to humanize everybody, even the cop, because he's dealing with guilt
There you
throughout the whole
Yeah.
film.
There you go.
He's dealing with the guilt of knowing that he killed an innocent black man. He's dealing with that. And I love that the movie, it's subtle, but it does show you that. That's why he lets Stoney go in the
At the
end,
end of the
because
bus.
it's about he has to atone for himself. He has to feel better about this. And him letting her go is almost like him being able to purge himself of knowing what he did to her to get her to this point, which is something that, you're not going to get most times if you're in this situation in real life, right?
Right.
But for him to have given her that moment, I think that was a great way to not make it just so bad white cop, but like some people make bad choices in high stakes environments. He was going into his jacket and he was coming out with something that in a high stake moment I could have misread. Did we all need to lay into this man and obliterate him? Probably not. Go ahead. So, sorry, bro.
No, but I think too, like what Jerry's saying too is I think it's like because I think that's his like one of his flaws for John C. McGinley is when it shows in the beginning he's this very obsessive cop.
Right.
Like to the point where he's like, I need everything. And that's the thing is you can kind of tell when it gets the best of him is when they're at the apartment, when Stoney's brother dies, where right after everything happens, he's like, if he realizes what's going on is like, oh my God, like we need to get like an ambulance here, like right now. And it's very much, you know, he could have been like, tried to cover it up, you know, be like, oh, well, I saw the gun repeat, but it's very much is like, no, like I messed up, you know?
Yeah.
It's that when what have you done? What have you done? I think that was echoing because he then had to fight. Well, that's when his character became more nuanced. Is that I'm still trying to find the fuckers who are robbing this motherfucking bank.
Right.
That is his Hank from Breaking Bad, right? That's his Hank dogged approach. I'm gonna find who did this. But then when he does realize who did this and the connection that he has to who did this and why he's doing this is why when he's looking back at the bank footage, he sees her.
Yeah.
And he recognizes her. Oh shit. Okay, so now that's when it's like this. Now there's a dichotomy to who he is because I'm gonna catch her, but I have to own some of this. I have to make some of that mine. And I think that's why his character I couldn't completely hate him by the end.
No.
Right. Exactly.
Even though I wanted to, right? Because you want the bad guy to those of us who, especially for us coming from the hood, right? Okay, so if I'm watching this, oh shoot, my phone. If I'm watching this movie, I'm like, I want the girls to win and fuck the cops, right? But as a mature storyteller, writer, when I do it, I'm like, okay, they did what you shouldn't do. They did what you did, which is make me empathize with him too. And that's always a sign of good storytelling for me.
I agree, for sure.
Yeah.
I thought he was a really interesting character.
Yeah. He wasn't one note.
No, like a lot of cops in these kind of movies are.
Exactly.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah, I had read that they actually teamed him up with a retired cop to do some of the the prep work for the movie, and I think it pays off. He feels very real. And
Yeah, they could have very, very, like I said, you guys are saying, easily made him the like one note.
Especially if you wanted to make a film that was, again, pedantic and just on the nose of wrong guys.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Then you don't need to humanize him. Make him as vile as possible. But then even the ladies, they have qualities that we don't like about them that would make us like, damn, no. But okay, yeah, you did get fired. Okay, yeah, you do, you have these things going on. So I don't know, very, very good rendering of that character as well. I agree. Dr. Dre cameo, by the way.
The gun dealer.
Black Sam.
Yeah, Black Sam.
She want to talk to you.
Hey, look. Okay, he went from stealing stolen cars to selling weapons, and then he sold headphones.
Smart. He got
entrepreneurial.
out of
Yeah, exactly.
Entrepreneurial.
He's like the money's in the headphones.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Do we want to go through our final thoughts? I feel like
We're
we
almost
covered
done?
this really well.
No, I'm going a bit. I'm still going a bit.
I'm about to say we didn't
Are
even
ya?
cover the love story at all.
The very 90s love story.
Very.
Yeah.
Because she had
I mean
she
Blair,
had
Blair Underwood.
The music, the cutting,
Yeah, I
Don't let go.
Okay, so speaking
the
of
oil
love
massage.
story, I was
Loved watching that as a 6-year-old.
I thought that was Blair Underwood's butt.
convinced. No, while watching the movie, I'm like, that has to be a butt double.
Jada was getting naked early on in her career a lot on screen. She had this movie, Jason's Lyrics. She was getting naked in the snow. I mean, naked outside. She was getting early. She was getting down early, and then she's got Will Smith and kept her clothes on. But well, I would if I was married to Will Smith too. But
Is that why she quit acting too?
I love you, Jada Pinkett Smith. I love you, Will Smith. I love all the Smiths. I'm not besmirching the family, please.
She's so good in this. It makes me
They're
miss
all really
her as
fucking
an actor.
good.
The one part that kind of got me a little bit was the part where, when she's, after like the romance scene at night, and she wakes up and it's the next morning, and he's like, oh, the next time we meet, like, I'm gonna make Italian food, and she knows she's lying. She's like, oh, I'll give you a call, and she turns and she looks away, and she's trying to like hold it in from like getting upset.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, I thought that was really well done. When she's holding it in, she turns, she's like, yeah, I'll call you, and then she turns around again.
What I will say, I think sometimes is that if this were, I don't know, 4 of your white girls in Hollywood at the time, this would have been an Academy Award nominated movie. I really feel like if you had any of your lead girls who did a 4-part thriller, because
Throw Sandra Bullock in there.
for sure, right? But the movie, I think, because it was a hood classic and because it was this thing, I think that it didn't reach the broader audience critically like it should have. But I think it held its weight against like you bring up Heat or any of those movies. Set It Off sits in there.
Yeah, like another one too that around the time gets a lot of attention, and like I said, some of it reminds me it's a little similar, but this one is like, you know, there's a little bit of Point Break in there as well. Mm-hmm. You know, especially like letting them go at the end and doing all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like that final scene, like the death scene with Queen Latifah.
With the Impala. Yeah.
Absolutely. Who if that was who?
Tippi Hedren.
Or Can you imagine like Natalie Portman as a Stoney? Come on now, they ate this up at the Reese Witherspoon or one of these people got a dark role. They would have ate this up globally and at the box office, right? But because of I think how it was relegated, who was in it, it got as big as it could get, but didn't necessarily get to shine because, like. Here would be my question for you. What are some story holes and loopholes that you found in the film that could have made it stronger?
Let me think about that. I wasn't wild about the whole Blair Underwood relationship, to be honest with you.
For tension, for story's sake, it had to be there.
It had to be there, but it felt there were sometimes the movie, especially like I'm not trying to avoid your question, but like in the music, sometimes it had like TV cop show music going on in the action sequences.
Okay.
They literally sounded like they were on
procedural
those 90s TV cop shows.
With like the saxophone.
Just whatever. and that relationship, although I agree it had to be there, it just felt very it didn't feel lived in to me like the rest of the movie.
Okay,
it felt very, very like, oh, we have to have this, and I didn't find it interesting at all.
Okay.
Only because there's the nice guy.
But
he's such a nice guy.
But think about it in the perspective or a sense of he represents everything her brother was going to be to her.
No, I get all. I mean, no, actually, I didn't even think about that.
That was who her brother was supposed to be.
You have a very deep dive into this movie.
I have a very deep dive into
which is
everything.
Great for us. I've seen it one time. So my reaction.
So back off.
So can we do a part 2 where we watch it, where we come back in a year and do it again?
When you talk about it, you're like way deep into it. I'm literally looking at it from one very shallow watch. Like when I watch movies, I just turn off and go, okay, entertain me. Let's see what happens here. So that felt very purposeful. It felt very, okay, we have to do this. So it didn't feel natural to me.
Sure.
It felt very forced into the story. And also, I thought it interesting that and I'm sorry I don't know the character's name, but at the beginning, the bank robbery, for me, she was being set up as the main character.
Oh, Frankie?
In the middle of Act 1, it was Jada. They just switched. They completely changed who the main character was, in my opinion.
Huh.
Because she was the main character, for sure.
Huh.
I mean...
Muy interesante.
What's that?
Muy interesante.
Very interesting.
That's just how I read it. Because I was totally on board with, it's got to be. I mean, she's the one getting screwed. She's the one getting fired. She's the one, now, all this stuff's happening. Then all of a sudden we just conveniently switch over to Jada and go, okay, wait, what? Because by introducing that love story, introducing that whole journey, introducing... I said sorry because
that's fine. I wasn't talking.
But again, I think it goes back to...
And then putting her to the end of the movie and that whole thing, that made her the...
But I think it goes back to the idea that I feel like had she not been the one to decide to rob the bank, they wouldn't have robbed it. So they wouldn't have gone on the spree, right? I think it was when she decided. She was the nucleus of the group. She was the girl of the group that held it all together. She was the emotional
compass?
balance. Yeah.
No.
She was because again, I think that they all, when you're in these environments, you're looking for the focal point that gets you to the zenith or North Star.
Right.
For all of those girls, I think that rested kind of a little bit in Stoney. Right now, but I do 100% get what you're saying in terms of how that was set up. And if we're going straight by film structure, this is the person who we think we're following. But again, I come back to it's an ensemble where she just was the survivor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you got all the ladies' kind of point of view of how they got inside. TT's came a little bit later, is weaved into the story. Cleo's too came a little bit weaved into the story, but TT was down for the ride no matter what. She was a lost cause, or liability.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Frankie and Stoney, I think, were the engines, and Frankie was just enough to get, that Jada character. But I think that was good. I never thought about it like that. There you go. See,
I
one
think,
viewing.
Yeah. Sorry,
but I think also just putting in that love story also just broadened her storyline so much bigger than anybody else's at that point. I mean, we literally. Sorry, I keep hitting your camera.
And I feel like if this were a less serious movie, so it shows, right? She's at the gala, she's at the banquet, she's meeting all the banker people from everywhere, and then she ends up robbing the bank. So I'm thinking, is he getting fired the next day? You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
like, is this setting up because they call on the phone and like she's in Mexico? I'm like, is he driving over, meeting her?
Right.
And they're robbing banks in the sequel.
Right.
The credits shows the Polaroids.
Yeah,
with
yeah, I was like, I don't know what the sequel would be called.
set it
Set
up.
off again.
Yeah, set it off again. Yeah, more to set off.
More setting off.
Setting offs.
Yeah.
You know what? You do make a good point now that I think about it, because Frankie is the one that tells them, "Let's rob a bank."
Yeah, I know the
And
steps.
it's kind of like a trade-off. Like once she does that, it's like the baton is handed over to Stoney. But I feel like in a way she still is like maybe like the sub-lead or the co-lead.
Yeah.
Because she gets the final end just before
Correct.
Stoney. She goes the furthest in the story.
Correct.
Yeah, because my thing too with her is like I get her character thing. Like I get what injustice that was done to her. But for me, I'm like, okay, so what? For me, I was like, what's going on in her life right now though? Because it's like she'll just sitting with the big. I'm like, because when she dies and everything, I'm like, I don't know. I was always wondering. I'm like, what's her? You got what I'm saying? Like, what's?
No, I don't get what
Frankie?
you're saying.
Frankie.
What's her reasoning?
No, not her reasoning, but like for me, it seems like her character is like it's there, so we set her up. Like she gets fired, and then she decides to rob the banks. But I feel like other than that, like outside of it, like I don't know, like
You don't really get more.
I don't really get more of her character at all.
I think she
Yeah.
got her moment when she faced off with the cop at the end.
Yeah,
And she did that callback. I think essentially that was like her thing.
Okay, yeah, but leading up to that was kind of because never mind.
Go on. Go. Say what you got to say.
No, because I was saying because like Dan said, it's like they were setting her up a bit to be the main character, and then it's like I feel like in every other character, like you have Jada, where it's like okay, when they're not robbing banks,
She's doing something else.
doing something else. But with her, I felt like she was never
Given
doing
that.
anything.
Well, nobody else was doing anything else. Jada was the only one doing anything else.
Well, TT was being a mother,
Yeah, TT
and
was
Queen
being the
Latifah was
mom.
being like a
No, but
little,
we didn't.
stud.
I know, but we didn't really follow it very much.
Sure.
We really followed the
But I
Jada
think that could
relationship
also
with,
mean that like
with Blair Underwood.
Frankie's life was that work.
Correct.
So once
Yeah,
that
that
was
makes
gone,
sense.
she just didn't have anything else. And then
Correct.
she sucked at Luther's job. But also Luther.
Hilarious.
For a second, I thought, are we really going after Luther? Is he the main villain right now?
Oh.
It's like that cannot be it. When he
Luther
robbed
stole the money.
them,
I loved it.
Hey, what?
when he robbed them, when they went back to work and they saw, somebody else took over the company,
Oh.
so they want to get money, it was gone, and they're like, Luther.
My only thing with that is
That Luther scene was pretty
No,
crazy.
Loved it.
no. The only thing with me with Luther is like I get it. Like okay, we're gonna hide the money in in the vent here because no one's gonna see it. But I'm like, so clearly they set up they open the vent, they put it there, but there's like a T. I'm like, I would have moved it over to the side because it was like invisible view. I'm like, if anyone looks under there, and then I think too, Luther has my favorite line in the entire movie.
Get back to work.
Nope. There's 3 people I don't mess with: the I, the R, and the S.
Go on.
My favorite line in the entire movie.
Go on.
And they do it again with another character when John C. With Detective Strode is asking to bring Stoney in. And I guess his superior is like, no.
What
and
don't
he's
you
like,
remember?
What don't you understand? The N or the no? Or the O?
N or the O? What don't you understand? Stroll, the N or the O? Yeah, no. I'm going to go back and rewatch it now to look at the love story and see if I have a different thought process on it, because maybe I do, maybe I don't know. Even though I did watch it again recently. I tell you, this is my friend Toby's favorite movie. We watched Set It Off often.
So you watched it, you said, I think you watched it just recently for this on VHS.
No.
Oh, for the first time I was like, whoa, you still have the tape?
When I originally watched this movie, it was on a VHS,
Yeah, because that's why, because you were like, I was like, whoa, you watched it again on VHS?
No, I wish I could.
I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Making a comeback.
Yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoy this movie, and yeah, I could go on and on for days.
Are you okay now?
I'm satisfied.
All right. So let's do final thoughts then.
Yeah, I think it's about time. I think we really dug into like the biggest parts, which is really the characters and the acting. Like we didn't really talk too much about the action, but I mean, what can you really say? It's good. I really love the moment where the SUV breaks through the glass.
Yeah.
That's the moment that I always remember from the movie.
Great too. Did he direct the Italian Job remake?
He did, and he also directed Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, that's why with this, I was like, okay, I see why they got him. I see why they got him.
But,
And this was one of those movies that, again, Friday is one movie.
mm-hmm.
It's a totally different movie, tonally, and a different ask from a director for this one, right? So this was the movie that really set him off to get those bigger budget films down the line, because they saw how he can handle this.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, you did a great job with it, for sure.
Who wants to start?
Sam, you can set it off.
Okay. What's the
honestly-
first rule?
What's the
what
procedure
are you even talking about?
when you have a gun to your head?
That part.
Oh.
That part, and then with the beginning, when they're talking about with the right hand, when you're
Oh,
being
the right
robbed.
hand clip.
Right.
With the right hand, yeah.
I like I said earlier, I think what made me really enjoy this movie was just the characters and how they set them up, and how the motivations between like how or why they needed to rob the bank, and the bond between all of them. I think it really shone through that they are actually really close. Like, it's very genuine. Nothing special about like the camera stuff, but again, story was what did it for me. So overall, I will give it 3 out of 5. You got to recycle.
Oh, yeah. Docking your pay.
That's funny. I thought it was crazy that this was something where I actually talked out loud to the movie at that moment. When they're standing outside of the bank and putting their wigs on, I was like, why didn't you put your wigs on while you were in the car,
Outside.
for God's sake? You're literally standing at the entrance of the bank putting your wigs on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can go.
I had to get that on.
No, go ahead. You're already talking.
You don't know what to say, do you?
I do, but it's just Sam just went. You got a little.
You actually don't know what to
I
say.
do know what to say.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Travis, fucking go. Go ahead, Travis.
Okay, so never heard of this movie.
Right.
I'm watching it. Bank robbery. Bank robbery comes in. I'm really liking it, and like, this is just a movie because I know last week when we were talking about hours, I said I like the beginning the most, and then I just the rest of the parts were okay. I feel like just the longer this one went on, the more I really liked it.
Are you referring back to Crying Game?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey Dan, I have the microphone, so
Yeah,
you're gonna
but
listen.
that
You're gonna
was a
listen to everything I have to
That
say.
was a terrible thing you just said. Go ahead.
Dan, you had your chance. No, but I'm just saying it's, and by I think like the second robbery from when they crashed into with the SUV, and I think it was a turn for Queen Latifah's character and everything. I was glued instantly, like glued. It was one of those where stayed up really late to finish it. Totally worth it. I think John C. McGinley, I've always really liked him as an actor. I think every performance I think in this movie was great. I can see like why Queen Latifah really took off acting after this.
For sure.
Vivica A, Fox, everyone. It's
Literally
just a
them all.
well-around movie. And like I said, it's like I was kind of bringing up is you have like, you know, the essential like 90s heist bank robbery movies, but I feel like this one just never got never gets brought up. And I just can't believe I never heard of it. And I'm glad because even today at work when I was talking about it, I was like, oh, I saw this movie called Set It Off. I never heard of it. And people were like, you've never heard of that movie?
Literally.
They're like, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I know.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's one of those where, I mean, I can see myself rewatching it. Especially it's one of those, like, if it's on, like, streaming or TV and it's on, I'm just going to get glued. But no, it's at the end of the day, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. Oh, yeah, butt doubles.
There you go.
For
That's
me,
a lot of butts.
I'm going to jump right in. For me, the movie, as I was saying earlier, I was questioning the movie in the first act. But the movie just got better and better and better. And by the time we got into the third act and we were rocking through this thing, I mean, it was a great ride. I mean, I was so into the movie. I thought the final action sequences all the way to the end were really well done. I thought the acting was really good. I don't know that I had an opinion about Jada as an actress, honestly. I'm not even sure I can name another movie she's ever been in.
Scream 2.
Scream 2.
There you go.
Scream
Scream
2.
2. She
Well,
is.
what was she in?
Collateral.
She
She
was
was
the
the
opening,
first
person that
opening
was,
kill.
Yeah, she was the opening kill.
Oh,
I wanted to see
I don't even remember that.
I wanted to see the Sandra Bullock movie.
She was in Collateral.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a great movie.
Yeah.
So I thought it was, I thought she was great. I thought all of them were really good.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I saw it. I've never heard of them. I'm gonna ask my friends now when I see them, do you know this movie? I'm just going to be interested to see if they have heard of it or if they've seen it and go, really, Dan? Really? You don't know this movie? So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 wigs. I mean, I'm telling you.
Or plastic,
That-
plastic mask.
That wig, the plastic masks were cool, but the wigs, when they're standing right outside the bank door putting the wigs on, and I was literally screaming at the TV, why didn't you do that in the car?
For me, the one that got me in the scene, is when they were scoping the bank. And, they were walking around, but for me, it was like, TT, where she kept, like, leaning over, like, come on, let's go. And you're taking too long. I'm like, you're drawing all the attention.
That's why she had to
Right there, I'm
die.
like, now
That's why she had to die.
I know. I was like, you're making it so obvious now that something's going on.
Let me tell you. Oh, I mean, I'll do my final thoughts, but this is a side. TT would have had to go. No, I love her. I love you, baby.
And that's what you do.
I love you. When you, my dad, another one of his quotes, son, when you get into an unscrupulous business, you got to leave your scruples. So, sorry, baby, you're a liability. That's why I love the moment when Frankie was like, yo, she ain't do nothing, she don't get nothing.
Yeah,
I really loved it. I loved it.
too.
She didn't do nothing. We put our shit on the line, and she did not do nothing. She don't get shit.
She had to take the bus.
Listen, I don't care if
kidding.
you got to
I'm
get your
kidding.
son back or whatever, bitch. We went in there and we were robbing a fucking bank, and you decided to peace out. You do not get anything. I really wish she would have stuck to it, and she should have robbed that bank with them the next time. But anywho,
There won't be a next time.
I agree. Frank?
I'm gonna go next, and then that way you can,
oh wow, thank you.
Finish up.
So, I love this movie so fucking much. Like, it was a classic growing up in my house. Like, after I was able to watch it, I watch it, I watch it, like, every so often, like, very consistently. I watched it when I went to Mexico a couple weeks ago. Like,
that's
it was
what
like
in your head.
it was a comfort like watch while I was doing other stuff. I think it's thankfully held up
Yes.
Yeah.
on the the rewatch. I definitely get what you mean in terms of like all the little things like the wigs. I think it speaks to their inexperience, the fact that they're in over their heads, which is very clear by the end. And the one thing that always kind of like got me, but I think it's more just because of the budget and the constraints that they had. Because I know for that second robbery, they shut down Wilshire Boulevard.
Yeah, that was right by the Academy Museum.
And they only had one shot to do that scene. They only had one shot to get the car stuff in. So I get it. I would have liked a little bit of a faster response from the police once the car goes in. But, you know, it's like that movie time where, you know, everything's kind of happening at the same time. So it's okay.
It's like the gun that has endless bullets.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not enough to bother me. Like the story rings true. Like even like sometimes when I watch the movie, I'll be like, you know, this was then, right? But like, does it connect with people now? Because, you know, it's 2026, and then yesterday we were supposed to meet up, and on the way to like building up to meeting up, I get a notification on my phone. I don't know if you guys know this. There was the Cohen Wiley, the 1-year-old that was killed, shoplifting. And cop knew that he was being held, that he was in the car. Still shot at the car with what's it called, with people around. Like, it's 2026 and stuff like this still happens, you know. It's,
and we are in LA. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's ever gonna stop, but as long as it's not, as it's, you know, reality somewhere, this movie's gonna still be relevant. So I'm gonna give it.
No, he's going to give it a 5.
I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 bitches with guns.
Bitches with guns.
I'm the 5th bitch. Yeah.
God, I love that wacky radio stuff. God.
The performances, though, like every single time, all the deaths always hit. Stoney's face when John C. McGinley, like, notices her, like, you can tell her face is like, please don't.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Also, John C. McGinley, great, super caked up in this movie. I forgot all about it.
Not the cake.
Yep,
Not
the cake. But also his acting is so good.
But the cake.
The cake is there too. Yeah, no, it's a classic. It's a hood classic, Dan. Yeah.
It is.
It is.
And it should be just an American classic.
It should. You know what? Yeah, it sucks that it's underappreciated. Even for the time, it was underappreciated.
Correct.
The money that it made was from repeat viewing, so it became a cult classic. But when it came out, it wasn't. You know, it didn't make as big waves as it should have. I think it was really, really timely.
As made apparent by each of you guys in the room now, saying how much you love the film. Right? Have we all went to see it or been able to see it when it came out? We could have had a huge number 1 film because it's accessible to everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. No, that was it.
You're on, man.
You're on.
5 bitches with guns.
Well, thank y'all for having me first and foremost again, for inviting me here and to talk about a movie that I am so intimately connected with. I love Set It Off, like you. I don't need to probably watch it as much as I do because I literally have it in my head memorized. So I'm always, me and my homie Toby literally are texting each other. I'm in a bind, Nate. I need that money. Literally all the time. And there's a song at the end of the movie with Shaka Khan and Brandy, Tamia, and Gladys Knight called Missing You. I used to not listen to that song forever because this movie had a visceral reaction to me when I watched it. And so those moments were like, when I would hear that song, I immediately identify with TT's death, and I immediately identify with Frankie's death and Cleo's death and so it was like you were in the film viscerally that way. I love Set It Off. 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 I don't know how much more to say that other than I love Set It Off. And I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 banana flambés.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
Outstanding. This is great. This was so much fun. Thank you for introducing us to Jerry, and thank you for introducing this movie to us. This was really cool.
Really good insights.
Yeah, you
Thank
did.
you.
Appreciate that, yeah.
You brought
Very
a lot to this movie because it really opened my eyes up to a lot of things
Thank you. I appreciate that.
and giving us a lot of background and context, which I really appreciate.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
makes me really want to watch the movie again. So,
I was hoping you would
and
say
I don't rewatch movies. That's not something you know about me, but I'm really into the moving on to the next
Sure.
movie kind of
Yeah.
guy because I would love to see as many movies as possible versus seeing one movie over and over and over again. But there are times when I see a movie and maybe I go, "Oh, I need to take another look at this movie now
Mhm.
that I have a different kind
Mm-hmm.
Climax.
of
Yeah.
understanding
Yeah.
of the
Shopping
movie."
mall.
Yeah.
So anyway, this has been great.
Thank you.
I don't know what we're doing next. Do we know what we're doing
We're
next?
talking about doing.
I wanna
Simple
do-
Plan,
I
weren't we?
want to do a There Will Be Blood.
Oh.
Well, There Will Be Blood be great. We should also do Simple Plan. I think we should do both.
Ooh.
We're
at
doing
some
Big
point.
Heist, sort of.
But you said There Will Be Blood.
It's
Can-
kind,
Are you
it's,
talking
it's a,
Drink My
it's a heist
Milkshake?
of
There
some
Will Be
kind.
Blood?
I love a
Huh?
heist.
Drink My Milkshake?
I love that movie.
I'd rather not.
Can I get invited back when we discuss Lars and the Real Girl?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll make a note. I love that
So
movie.
I've never
until
seen
next time, please follow us, share, like, review. What's the other stuff, Frank?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Tell your friends. Tell
Yeah.
your enemies.
Enemies.
Tell your
your
enemies.
neighbors.
Tell the people you love. Tell the people you hate. Tell
Kidnap
The
everybody in the
someone.
world.
when you're at an
Stand out in the
intersection.
middle of the street and sing it out loud.
When you're at an intersection, just put down your window and just tell.
day.
We are Strangers in the Alps,
I push
a movie podcast. My name is Dan,
Travis.
Frank.
and
I am Jerry.
we are out.
Gay.
You say that every time.
Because it's true. It's my month.